We saved butt tons on our wedding.
Literally 2 cheeks worth. That's what you mean by butt tons. Hey everybody, if you're not getting married right now or planning a wedding, you definitely know somebody who is, because we are just in that season. And we talk to people all the time, and there's this dread when it comes to planning the wedding. And as we look back on our experience, it really wasn't that bad. And there's certain things that we did that saved us a lot of money. And we think those are all things that are really useful, so we wanted to share those with you today.
Your wedding will probably be the most expensive day of your life. At least I hope it's the most expensive day of your life. I hope you're not spending stupid amounts of money on other days of your life. And so we wanted to share some of the things that saved us tons of money. We gave ourselves a budget. Really, we just had a budget of $5,000 for our wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And that $5,000 not only covered our wedding, but it covered our honeymoon, and it filled our fridge when we were newly married for the first couple of weeks. Yeah, I think we spent less than $2,500 on our wedding total, which is pretty insane. We wanted to share some things that saved us a ton of money, and hopefully it can save you a ton of money.
The first thing that we did that saved us thousands of dollars is we got married on a weekday. So we had our wedding reception on a Wednesday night. We had the ceremony on a Thursday. But by having a Wednesday night reception time, we got a completely different rate than the weekend rates at the venue we went to. And there's a lot of things that they just threw in with it being a weekday completely for free that would be extra charges on a Friday or a Saturday.
It was crazy. So for like 4 hours on a weekend, I think the venue's base rate was like $1,500 for like 4 hours. And then in addition, they did like the ceiling of the venue for us. They did all of the setup of tables and chairs and tablecloths. So we had tons of stuff, and they threw in all of that for free, and they gave us and like the roof itself, to do the roof would have been hundreds and hundreds of dollars. The venue was $1,500. We got the entire thing for like $800 because we got married on a weekday instead of a weekend. So number 2, the thing that saved us a lot of money is putting ISOs out on Facebook. So you can put out on Facebook with all of your Facebook friends in search of whatever it is, someone you know either owns it or they know someone who owns it. By putting an ISO out, you're tapping into not only your network, but your network's network. A lot of people are willing to just kind of let you borrow stuff, and they're glad to do it because they want to support you in your wedding. And so putting an ISO out on Facebook is really big to save money.
I mean, we had somebody that had all the picture frames that we needed to do the pictures sitting in their basement.
And think about it. Your mom is bound to know someone who does stupid amounts of crafts and has way too much of everything. And she would love to just give them to you to use at your wedding.
So number 3 is to hire an amateur photographer. When we say that, we don't mean someone who's going to go around with their iPhone on portrait mode and get really good pics. It's someone who is trying to break into the photography field. They're trying to build their portfolio. This was really cool. Jansen had a friend for our wedding. We had found a photographer, and then she approached us saying that she wanted to build her portfolio and asked to take our pictures for free. So we were able to have 2 photographers going around taking candidates of our reception, and then we were able to kind of pick and choose which ones are our favorites, which ones are there. So that was a really cool thing for us to have someone who is building their portfolio help us out, and we got amazing photos.
There are a couple of things that a photographer needs to be successful. One of them is skill, that's the most important one, and the other one is a portfolio so people can view their work. When you're looking for an amateur photographer, and again, you can do this ISO on Facebook or just somebody that you know, you're looking for somebody that has the skill and doesn't have the portfolio, because the portfolio just means they need to put in the work, but the skill means they have it there, you know what I mean? So they have what it takes. I've heard photography is one of the most expensive things when it comes to a wedding. And I know the photographer that we had that did it all for free charges, a regular package is $1,500. So we saved $1,500 because they just needed to borrow to build their portfolio. So it was huge savings.
Yeah, a disclaimer with these last 2 points that I think is really important. We're not asking you or telling you or giving you permission to go mooch off of your friends.
Please, no mooching.
Firm believers in, if your friend has a business that does a thing and you need that thing, you should pay for it. This is looking for someone who's also looking for an opportunity to build their portfolio. You're not looking at a photographer off Instagram and saying, hey, do you want to do our wedding for free? That's super tacky and not the way to do it. You're looking for people that you can help them and they can help you.
Okay, so number 4 is bundling services. So what we mean by that is going with a company, whether it's a reception center or you're hiring a wedding planner to do it for you or whatever it is. Usually if a company provides multiple services, they will give you a discount if you bundle them together.
Oftentimes with companies that plan weddings, they're ready and they have the equipment there and they'll give you the discount. They'll give you the bundled offer and they'll save you money because you're utilizing everything that they have. So number 5, which this was kind of a hard one for me to learn, but figuring it out was awesome. But it's focus on what matters most, cut out the rest. For us in our wedding, neither of us like cake. So even though there are people there who wondered where the cake was and when we were going to cut the cake or how that was going to work, we didn't have a cake. And that's $500 to, in some cases, $1,000 that we saved by not having a cake. We saved a lot on floral options because we had my bouquet, he had a boutonniere, our parents had boutonnieres and corsages, and that was it. Because that was what we felt was needed, what we wanted to have. And so there's lots of things that as we looked at it, we just didn't want at our wedding. We just didn't need. And so we were able to cut it out, and that cuts cost. Because when you're looking at a wedding, everything costs money and it adds up.
We just went through the full list of everything you could possibly expect in a wedding. And we said, do we really want this? No. Do we really want this? Yes. And we just went through everything you can think of in a wedding and cut out everything that didn't really super matter to us and only kept the things that mattered a ton to us. Because it's your wedding, you get to decide what happens with your wedding. You're the ones getting married. You focus on what matters most and you cut out the rest. Number 6 is very similar to number 5, and that is to skip or simplify catering. We did all kinds of research on catering, and this is another one of those, just like photography, one of those expenses that just really adds up really fast.
Can eat away your budget. Yeah, and we had looked at a lot of options. There was quite a few things that we thought about doing, and one thing to consider when looking at skipping or dialing back on catering is what time is your reception. If your reception starts at 5 and ends at 9, having that window open, that's dinner time. And so people are going to come expecting food. And ours started either 6:30 or 7.
Yeah, it was 6:30.
It started at 6:30, which is kind of an after dinner time, and then we just had donuts. By having it at that slightly later time, we cut out an expectation for our guests to have it, and ultimately it was really fun to have. We got some really cute pictures of kids with their sprinkled donuts to get those back, and really when you're the bride and groom, you're not chowing down on anything, so you want something that's just going to be fun and easy for your guests.
And we spent maybe a couple $100 on donuts total. And so it was insane because we had so many donuts. We ordered so much. We had 9 boxes left over, and we spent less than a few $100.
So number 7 is DIY centerpieces. Doing it yourself gives you a lot of options. You can make it exactly how you want it, and you're not at the mercy of whatever is available. We added to the centerpieces that were provided at the reception hall. We lucked out that where we were going, they had these really cute lanterns with really pretty lights that were way better than anything we could find. But we also wanted to add our personal touch. So we got a bunch of picture frames, we put our engagement photos and everything on it and added to what was already on it. And overall it cost us just what it cost to print the photos.
So you save a couple $100 by doing centerpieces all on your own. Okay, so number 8 is rent if you can, don't buy. It's so interesting because you purchase a lot for your wedding, but there's a lot that you can rent. Like you don't need to buy the chairs and the tables. You don't need to buy the tablecloths. Usually you can rent them for a lot cheaper than you can buy them. There are places like Hobby Lobby was one that we looked at to rent things from, and they have tons of stuff that you can just like, instead of purchasing for your wedding, you can rent for your wedding.
And another thing that is really useful when you're renting is you don't have to look at it and think, now I'm stuck with all this stuff.
Right.
You have something and it serves its purpose, and then you can Marie Kondo it and give it back to the rental company and say, it sparked me joy then, but I don't need it to occupy my closet space or anything like that. So number 1, get married on Facebook. Number 1, get married on a weekday. I said it!
I know. All right, so number 1 is to get married on a weekday. Number 2 is to ISO on Facebook for anything you need. Number 3 is hire an amateur photographer. You'll save so much money. Number 4 is to bundle services. Number 5 is to focus on what matters most and to cut out the rest. Number 6 is to skip or simplify catering. Number 7 is DIY centerpieces. Number 8 is rent, don't buy.